Hello, Sean here, Mountains Garage. I'm shooting the intro last. We're gonna show you all these parts from Strange Engineering and my fight with the transmission crossmember. Let's get at it. I'm experimenting with my audio when I'm behind the camera. Curious if I found the problem or not. Yesterday's video outside, which is more difficult, really highlighted the problem. And if I figured it out, I'll tell you what I did at the end of the video. But right now, working on the transmission crossmember, I've decided to put a small bend in my plate. Yesterday, like I mentioned, I cut these off because I couldn't bend them. And now I'm just using the bender, got it hooked up to my electric hydraulic unit. And I'll try to give you a good shot. And I'm just going to put a small tweak in it and go down and try it in the car. But in order to bend it, you can see I got it slid over to this side of the, for lack of a better term, jaw. There's a better term for it. So let's give it a try. The die, see, I couldn't even think of it. This bottom piece is known as the die. So I have my bracket for my bottom of my transmission crossmember. I'm just going to line it so it's even with the back of the die. So I make a straight bend. Give it one final eyeball and go for it. Just want to give it a small tweak. I guess I'll move over into the middle just in case it wouldn't come out even. Something like that. I'll go try it in the car and see if it fits. All right, that's a pretty decent fit. And then I took the two sides that I cut off yesterday, held them with vice grips so I could grind them both at the same time, and pretty much have them fit up in there like that. Now I need to tack it up and then carefully remove it and weld it up on the bench. Sorry about the bright lights. Okay, I have the side piece held in with a magnet. I'm using one of those fancy magnets to hold everything together so I can tack it up. And I'll do both sides, I believe, while it's sitting right here. Then I'll no doubt remove the mount or take all the bolts out of it because I don't want to knock it out of whack. I'll have it tacked pretty good, but while I hammer the crossmember back out of the car, because right now it's a slight hammer fit on the frame rails. And then I've marked both sides at 3.5 inches where the flanges are going to go. And then I still need to shine up the frame rail and get this stuff ready for final assembly. Let's go over a few TIG welder settings. Why not? I've mentioned I'm the last guy to get TIG advice from if you're looking for advice from an expert. But if you want advice from a guy that makes a lot of mistakes, I'm your man. I like my Precision TIG 275 for steel because I've used it a long time at this point and I'm comfortable with it. Under the pink fender cover and another cover, so I won't uncover it, I just tried actually and ruined my clip, is an Alpha TIG 203 that I bought because I wanted to be better at aluminum. And it's kind of like when I wanted to learn how to play guitar. The welder is better than I am, but I'm learning. And I have a chromoly steel project to do with another Alpha TIG 203, so I need to practice with that a little bit. On steel again, but not today because I already turned the gas on for this one. So, let's go around to the gas first now that I've mentioned it. I have, sorry, taking it with me, a dual regulator, and I have one hooked to the Alpha TIG and one hooked to the Precision TIG. I have cheat marks. What I like about this regulator setup, it holds pressure. That's my tank pressure, which I'm getting down there, but that's quite a bit of welding still. And when I shut this valve off and this valve off, this side goes to the Lincoln precision TIG that I'm going to use. I shut them both off, and the pressure stays there forever, pretty much. And I cheat with this one. See the mark on it? This is actually off, and I know that straight up and down with my Monster 12 cup gives me about 24 or 5 CFH. Typically you take your cup size and double it for gas flow. So that's exactly what I've done. Now to the front of the welder. This Lincoln Precision TIG 275 has a water cooler underneath. That's why it's such a behemoth. Plus it's an old transformer style machine. And I've never liked, the only thing I don't like about my MIG welder is the loud fan that runs continuous. Now when I fire up the Lincoln, the water cooler runs just for a minute and shuts off. And same thing when I weld, the water cooler keeps circulating water for about 5 minutes. And the fan of the welder eventually shuts off along with the water cooler. So I'm gonna leave it, I was gonna set it at 100 amps, but we're sitting at 97, so if I was to change it, it's a simple matter of turning the knob a little bit. And I recently got some advice on the Everlast TIG welder live feed every Wednesday night. Hey, that's tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern time. He's in the Midwest, so I'm gonna turn up my post flow because I'm so stingy. I'm killing my tungsten, so I just turned it up a little bit. I had it on like maybe 4 seconds. Now I'm maybe 6 or 7 seconds, which is still pretty stingy, but I think that's why my tungsten doesn't last as long as it should. This is my Monster 12 gas lens, I guess it's technically called. Some people just call them a cup. And the magnetic TIG torch holder. This giant 275 amp welder only has a 20 torch because it's water cooled. So if you were to crank the welder all the way up, it's probably beyond the rated capacity of this torch, but that's what it came with. And it has a protective sheath. You can tell by the tape. I've had it apart a few times. When you accidentally get lazy, this falls down and you touch one of the water carrying tubes against a hot weld. Woodpecker. Hungry woodpecker. I think that would hurt your head after a while. So I welded half this Crossmember this afternoon, and it was going okay. And then I came out this evening to finish, and my welds went from pretty colors to gray looking. Probably should have stopped right then, but I keep going, and I got it adequately done, but not as pretty as I'd hoped. And I just went to fill in the corner just now, and it's like you're welding without gas. So even though the pressure gauge is showing, not empty, I don't dare to continue. I guess I can tack on these, but once you get that porosity in the weld, it's hard to cover it or grind it out. It just makes the job look like, well, yeah. So, sooner than later, I got to get another bottle. But, more exciting, my boxes from Strange Engineering came, and I just opened them up. So let's just take a peek at what I've got. It's like Christmas all over again. The total cost, my original estimate, I figured this stuff was going to cost me $1,500 to replace the box of parts that haunt my dreams. Somewhere in that big warehouse where I pulled that 55 out, probably sits an old dusty box with all these parts. Bought back in, the mid-90s when things were actually not that much cheaper. Some speed parts don't really seem to escalate as bad as others, so. But total with shipping, this is $1,663. What do we get? We got front and rear calipers. Now, they're the same. The 4-piston calipers are the same front and back. The kits come with identical hardware. I like things that are universal. The only difference is I have softer brake pads for the front and the The back ones are hard. That's my air compressor regulator blowing off. The back ones are harder, and they say they're not suitable for the front, so I actually had to look it up online. They just showed up with a generic packing slip, so I just Googled the number, and it gives you the information you need. I love that. The caliper brackets for the rear, oddly enough, there's early floater stuff and late floater stuff. These brackets say they're late, but hey, they know more than I do. So, I mean, I definitely have a round bolt pattern with a lot of holes, so sooner than later, within the next week, I need to just pull the floater hubs off and make sure the bracket fits. They didn't have wheel seals when I talked to Strange last week. That should have been a clue. But he did give me the national seal part number that I Googled and found 3 on eBay. They're not here yet, and I found 1 on Rock Auto. So, yes, I bought 2 sets. If they're already hard to find, that situation's not going to get any better. So, I just bought 2 sets. So, here's a car that is a long ways away from ever seeing the road, and I'm already stacking up parts if things go bad. So, that's the way my brain works. The axles are absolutely beautiful. They're gun drilled. Well, you can't sell. They got a freeze plug in one end to keep the oil from coming out, I guess. But man, that's pretty. So a 40 spline floater axle, gun drilled, $210. You really can't beat it. The springs, they're strange 14-inch hypercoils. They're kind of odd. They're actually small at the end, and they get bigger. These are for my front struts, and they're only 175 pounds. My guess, looking at a few charts, I was going to say with a 3-inch strut, I wanted somewhere 275 to 350. But with their advice, they claim with this much travel, you want a lighter spring, and hey, we'll give them a try. But I looked up the part number, even on Amazon. These were like $79. Direct from Strange, $78. So it's not like they're overcharging it. And I'm impressed with that. So, and my hubcaps. Ba-ding, I placed the order and then immediately called back. I thought I had everything. And I looked up at the front wheels and there's no hubcaps. They're actually held on with a little O-ring. They say Strange on them. And they weren't, completely crazy price. Probably $36 with the O-rings. Whatever. So here is a bunch of parts. Missing, and I've ordered, and I'll have to show it to you when it gets here, is the rear drive shaft or U-joint containment device. I found what I think is a really good deal, so I can't wait to share that. Reasonably priced. And yeah, every street car should have, full U-joint coverage. But, street car, race car, whatever. All right, so, yeah, here we are. Odd video, aren't they all? I don't know how long I can keep up one a day, but I was once told that I should just film everything I do, and I'm a long ways from doing that, so. Have a good evening. Sorry this video is going up late. It probably will not be a great performer, but we'll see. Catch you later.